everything you're saying is, yeah.
Has that started?
It started right now. So. You're right.
He's a small guy.
It's swell guy. There you go.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. We're going to get started a little bit early today. Welcome. I'm Erin Austin. I think we should start with guests and visiting Rotarians. So who has a guest or a visiting Rotarian? Perfect.
My guest today is Neil Sata. It's Neil's second visit.
Hi, I'm going to take credit for bringing Jake Putnam. It was, you might have seen, remember whenever he presented to us as our town's economic development director? Yeah. And so this is his second visit, and we'll really say some kind words to him so that he'll keep coming back. Well, it's just really good.
Anybody else? All right. Announcements. Any announcements today?
The family of Don Ronford extends their thanks for what we did for him, and he was a proud Rotarian, and he couldn't come after COVID, but he enjoyed watching us online. But thanks for all you did for him. He had good service.
I'm doing my model train thing, we'll send out an email Saturday, the 13th of December, 1 to 4. And again, Christmas Eve, the 23rd of December, 1 to 4. Bring anybody you like, 204 Galway Drive, we're gonna put out a quick note about it. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
I have somewhere a sign-up sheet for the t-shirt orders, which will be online sometime soon. But you can also sign up on the board. They went around and now it's vanished. No, it's over here. We found it.
All right, anybody else? Okay. So, one more.
Philip told me I could have 5 minutes, so if you see the hook will come out, let me know so I can run. I just wanted to mention that one of our most rewarding projects is coming up on December 5th and 6th, and that's the donation of the bicycles. We do this in conjunction with Chapel Hill Service League, and they have a thing called Christmas House, and it is on December 5th and 6th.
You don't think that anybody can hear me? Sorry. This is December 5th and 6th. On the 5th, they're doing it for the first time on Friday evening. And since that's our Christmas party, we were able to use some substitutes. But on the 6th, we will need volunteers, and what do we do? We're going to have 75 bikes available this year. We're giving 40, and there are 2 anonymous donors who are giving 18 and 17, so it's going to be pretty busy in there. What we do is make sure everything's set up properly so people can come in and look at the bikes we have, the sizes, colors, and so forth. And then, we help them decide what's best for their kid. And then we help them get them out to their car. Because most of the time it's mothers that are shopping. And I tell you, I've never seen such emotion when a parent finds out that their kid was eligible for getting a bike. I've seen them just get on their knees and cry because they've never had an opportunity to get something like this. So there's in the email that went out, there's a place you can sign up online. If you don't want to do that, here's the old-fashioned way of signing up with a thing that we're going to send around. So please try to come. Even if you can't help, just stop by and see how the project's going. They have, in the families that are eligible for this through social services, 800 kids are available. I mean, eligible. Can you imagine that? And they have a system of who gets what for. But for the bikes, it's sort of a lottery system, trying to make it very fair for the kids. So it's really fun to do. So I hope even if you don't sign up to help, you just stop by. It's at Binkley Baptist Church on Willow Drive. Any questions? And the email has more information about it. So I hope you can stop by.
Okay. So with the start of basketball season, it got me thinking about how we're all so drawn to sports, and also how sports translate to life. I'm definitely not a basketball expert. I went to UNC, so I'm a huge UNC fan, but I don't really know that many specifics in terms of staying on top of the latest of all the basketball. But I do know a little bit about a very specific period in basketball, because when I moved back to Los Angeles, I produced a film about Morgan Wooten, who was the first high school basketball in the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. Some of you may or may not have heard of him, but he coached at DeMatha Catholic High School in Maryland outside of DC for 46 years. He produced so many amazing coaches and players that went on to do really great things. Over that time, he had 1,274 wins and never had a losing season. He was one of the founding fathers of the McDonald's All-American Games, and he started the first basketball day camp. His mantra was God, family, school, and then basketball, with basketball being the priority for him. And he turned his players into stars in both the game of basketball and in the game of life. So Morgan was still alive when we shot this film. And so in addition to hearing from him directly, we interviewed lots of coaches and players, including Roy Williams and Coach K. We also interviewed Mike Gray, James Brown, John Feinstein, Adrian Dantley, Derek Wittenberg, who was a player at DeMatha, who was also on NC State's 1983 championship team. He was an executive producer in the film. Morgan also happened to be really good friends with Dean Smith. But through these interviews, we realized that Morgan had a number of sayings about basketball that also applied to his life, to anyone's life. We started calling them Morganisms. And each time we interviewed someone, we asked them their favorite Morganism. And so I thought I would share a few of them. So Mike Gray's favorite Morganism: don't jump the pass. James Brown, he loved it when Morgan would say, that basket is as big as the ocean. Derek Wittenberg, his favorite was be quick, but don't hurry. One of my favorites as a mother was Adrian Dantley's mom and aunt, who we interviewed. They said, you can't hoot with the owls at night and soar with the eagles at dawn.
We can try.
Another favorite of mine that I say all the time is Adrian Branch, who loved when Morgan would say, inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's really hard. John Feinstein said his favorite of Morgan's was, you have to have discipline in order to be free. Joe Wooten was Morgan's son, who also played as a player and was also a coach. He remembered his dad saying, remember this your lifetime through. Tomorrow there'll be more to do. And failure waits for those who stay on some success built yesterday. And so tomorrow you must try once more, and even harder than before. And finally, we asked Morgan what his favorite saying was. And his favorite saying of his own was, to those that much is given, much is expected. And I think if you have this beautiful game of basketball, you have a chance to do really good things. So I thought that was kind of lovely. Before I hand it over, as a quick side note, and I don't think Aaron Nelson even knows this, but I can tell a brief funny story about Aaron. And I don't know that we've even officially met yet, but as you know, Aaron is incredibly respected by business owners in our community. So much so that some of them have his contact information plugged into their phone. One of those people is my significant other, Kevin, and Aaron and I happen to have the same name, even though it's spelled differently. So there was a period several years ago that you may remember where Kevin would constantly voice text me, and he'd say, text Aaron, and then he would say a text, And those texts were going to Aaron Nelson so much that he ended up having to change Aaron's contact name to be Chamber Aaron in his phone. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm going to start the fine basket and hand it over to Peter.
Thank you, Erin. It's good to see you, and I hope everybody is having a great week. And if not, I have something to cheer you up. Our good friend and fellow Rotarian, Corbin, it's good to see you after a long time. You look good. Thank you. I'll be quick because, as you know, Aaron probably needs 2 hours to do his presentation. So quickly, last week we had a great event in downtown Scarborough. Liz Henke, she's not here, she's in Illinois, but she worked with the Scarborough Police, and we were able to donate 10 car seats to new mothers, right? And it's a new event. We hope this will happen again, and we'll continue helping new mothers in our community. I sent an email yesterday, and Jennifer is taking a sabbatical, and she's been working real hard, and you know the quality of the speakers that she brings to us. So Jim Hebner and Mike Roach will hold the fort down for now as she takes well-deserved rest, and then beginning of February, Mike Roach will take over the program chairmanship. This is good news. Holiday party, December 5th. Please RSVP, and if you're having issues with doing this online, just shoot me an email, call me, and I'll be able to help you out.
Felix,
Now,
remind them we have to have it in by Wednesday.
yes. Randy just reminded me that we have to have your RSP latest next Wednesday. You saw an email that we continue to support our community in Western North Carolina, and we are going to collect gloves and hats of all sizes, right? And the Sanja Center is willing to have a basket right now, right there. So if you can start bringing stuff, you can drop them on that basket, and after we do all the collection by December 5th, we'll arrange to send them over to the Western North Carolina community. I'm going to ask Bob Ostrom to take 5 seconds to tell us about this good news about a project that is coming up March of next year.
Thanks. 2 quick things. I wanted to thank everybody that's involved here at the table. We now have over 100 hours of volunteer just from this month alone. And then after the first of the year, we're going to have the same shift and the second shift. So anybody who wants to probably can't say anymore that there's not enough spots. We should have enough spots. And then March 4th, which is a Wednesday right here, we're going to have the blood drive. It's 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. You'll be getting emails about it. You can sign up to volunteer to help out that day or to donate. And there's an old parrot saying that the floggings will continue until the morale improves. So the emails are going to continue until you donate or volunteer. Thank you.
Hey, Rotarians, this is going to be huge, and we're going to partner with maybe other clubs, and want to thank Refika and Deborah and the Sanja Center for letting us use this facility on March 4th for the blood drive free of charge, right? So thank you, Refika, thank you, Deborah. And just to end this, the Sanja Center will have their annual craft fair on December 6th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We'll include this in our next week's scuttlebutt if you want to come and see the crafts. And with that, let me ask Jennifer to come and introduce our guest. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I was thinking today about how do you introduce someone that has spoken to us multiple times and that many of us know. So I decided I'll do what Aaron did and tell a story about Aaron. And he doesn't even know this is coming. And shout out to ChatGPT for helping me add a little flavor to it. It was a crisp evening in Chapel Hill. And my friend Julie was on a mission. This is a true story, by the way. Was on a mission. Pick up 12 piping hot pizzas from IP3 for her son's sports awards banquet. She was feeling like a champion herself, having successfully dodged the 5 p.m. rush and parallel parked downtown like a pro. But as Julie loaded the last box into her car, her trusty minivan let out a dramatic wheeze, blinked twice, and died right there in front of IP3 Pizza, with a trunk full of pizza and a heart full of panic. Enter Aaron Nelson, local legend and chamber CEO turned crust crusader. Aaron had just finished a meeting, probably with David Putnam, where he solved 3 economic crises and approved a new bike lane. He spotted Julie, stranded and surrounded by mozzarella, and without hesitation, he said, "Hop in, we've got a banquet to save." They arrived just in time. Kids cheered, coaches cried, Julie was a hero. And Aaron? He disappeared into the night, like a civic Batman, probably off to rescue someone from a rogue town council meeting. And that, my friend, tells you everything you need to know about Aaron Nelson, Chamber of Commerce CEO for 25 years, and the kind of guy who doesn't just talk about community, he delivers it with extra cheese.
It was 2 weeks ago, y'all. I'm standing there at IP3. This woman comes in and she's like, "Do you have a driver? Do you have a driver?" And guys are like, "No, we're busy making pizza." I was like, "Where do you need to go?" She's like, "Middle school." And I'm like, "I'll take it." I'm like wearing this hoodie and whatever else, and I think she panicked and started took my license plate photo. I didn't introduce myself. I said, "I'm taking it." So we popped in and off we went. And 10 of the boxes. I was reviewing some of the texts that I got. Hi, honey, I'll be home late. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. Explaining these to my wife was really hard. Like, who is this person? Like, it's like Dave from State Farm. This is my favorite. Just because I didn't get the right size doesn't mean I don't know your size. The biggest problem was the what do you say we go away for this weekend? I was like, hell yeah. I am in this position as chamber guy for the last 25 years because of a guy named Peter Tompkins. Peter Tompkins, many of you all remember, was the head of sales and advertising sales for the Chapel Hill News. What you may not know is that Peter died this past week of ALS. And had been suffering pretty terribly with his wife Janine's support over the last year. Ran into Ted Vaden, who you all may remember, the editor and publisher of the Chapel Hill News. We reflected on Peter, and told there would be a service on the 5th of December. Peter is somebody who you knew and mattered to you. I showed you these photos last time I was here. Oh yeah, and I got like, no, that's too much stuff, Aaron. It's like we're gonna do 6 big trends. And like only 100 slides. So, what I showed you last time, I want to share this again. This is what we think of Chapel Hill. This is this view we have of ourselves. Some of you go even further back and are remembering the Happy Store that was sitting there where top of the hill is now. I'm just gonna back up a block. And this is the same church, right? So the same church. This is really what Chapel Hill is like. It's not the story we tell ourselves. This is what new people see when they move. It is a little more urban, a little more dense in our downtown, a lot more walkability, a lot more people in the downtown. There's people walking their dogs in our downtown. When 10 or 15 years ago, there was less of that. But I want to remind us, we grow up. We grow up, but we can still keep our essential selves. I don't look a lot like I looked in middle school, but I'm still the same person. And I think sometimes we're lamenting, well, sometimes we're nostalgic for a thing that never was, right? We're misremembering a thing because we were 18 or 21, we felt best about ourselves, and this is the place that we remember. But some exciting things are happening in our community. At the Chamber, just a quick introduction of our organization. Jennifer is on our board of directors. Serve and advance local business interests and build a resilient community where business can thrive. And when we're getting up in the morning, we're all excited about this broad vision. How can we, as a community, be a resilient, globally recognized community that has the talent, that has the infrastructure, that has the investment that we need in order to drive successful employers, world-class education, good public amenities, and thriving downtowns. Our organization serves a geography. It looks a little bit like this. We drew these county lines in the 1700s. They don't make any sense for our labor shed any longer. The only people caring deeply about the county municipal lines seem to be county and municipal officials. The rest of us, right, are traveling between like this. Just to share with you all, we did a survey recently of 200 local businesses, and we asked them what they needed right now to be successful. I'll just share with you top 4, help finding employees. Many of our members are nonprofits, and so not surprisingly, help accessing grant funds came in as a top, and we have great county grant funds that support businesses as well. Help marketing and advertising, right? I need to reach my customers. This is a very complicated media market, and people are busy and not paying attention, and help networking and connecting. Right? Not surprising, but these are the things that your chamber is focused on. When we ask them about their policy issues they care to know about, increasing availability and affordability of housing, supporting high quality public education, building and maintaining infrastructure, a regulatory environment, and real workforce challenges. The workforce challenges, when we ask them, what's your big issues, like finding and keeping workers, when we dig deeper, it's about child care costs, it's about housing costs, it's about long commute times. And so let me share, just before I get to that, I'm excited the Chamber has just partnered. For 20 years, we have been trying to get the state of North Carolina to allow chambers of commerce to negotiate healthcare pricing, health insurance pricing for our members. And in partnership with Blue Cross Blue Shield, just a few weeks ago, we launched Carolina HealthWorks. It's for businesses that have between 2 and 50 employees. They have to be a member of their local chamber of commerce with special programs, with special arrangements, special pricing, 22 different plans. It's a really great option. Quotes are coming back now. Just want to share with you, we've been hearing members talk about this, and we're going to work on it. At your chamber, we're also focused on 3 big things. We went out to the community, we asked for support, and we raised a bunch of money, and we hired some more people to advance and turn up our impact, investing in workforce development. Orange County's #1 export. You all have heard me say it before. Do you know what it is? Orange County's #1 export? Well-educated children. That's the product we make and send out of market. We spend 50 cents of every dollar we collect in county taxes on children, with no plans to keep them. In fact, great pride in the thank you notes we get from New York and Virginia and DC, where our well-educated children live. A return on that investment, that the children of our community should see a working future for themselves in our community. You can tell your friends that they left them in Boston if that makes you proud, but let's keep them in our community, make sure they can come back and find options, and let's train the local workforce that we have for the jobs that we need. Accelerating small business growth, improving small business support, and then finally increasing the housing supply, housing affordability. If you want to know more, the website, very specific goals in each one. 1,500 units more affordable housing, for example. Or in 5 years, right? We have 5-year goals. We want 80% of all adults workforce ready. That means they have a degree, a certificate, or a credential. We want to make sure that there's 200 more childcare slots. So there's very clear goals in this campaign, and many of you all have been investing in it. And we'll go through those today. So I'm going to give you some takeaways that came from our 18th annual State of the Community Report. If you totally want to geek out on this, the full one is in the Chamber's website, slide at the bottom. We're going to hit 6 areas. And we are going to start with growth. So let's do population growth by decade. This is Orange County. In the 1970s, we counted college kids where they went to college. Prior to the 1970s, we counted them with their parents. So the population growth that took place there, some of it was reassigning where people lived. So this is decennial growth. So the teens were the slowest growing decade in Orange County since the 1960s by number of people, and the slowest growing decade by percentage since the 1930s. It doesn't feel that way. I just showed you big, tall buildings, right? There's traffic. The traffic is principally people driving from Chatham County to Durham and getting stopped at St. Thomas More. If we could get St. Thomas More to slide at the beginning of their program a half an hour either direction, that would make a radical change and make the parents turn right. But a lot of our traffic is pass through, but as population grows, it's slow, y'all. It is hard to grow slower than less than 1% per year. And if we take a look at the first 5 years of the decade, it's looking like it'll be on pace to be very similar. Different than it feels though, right? Chatham County a little bit different. They are on pace to exceed previous year's growth and are quickly growing. Let's take a look at what the actual population is in Chapel Hill. There's 64, in case your friends are like, how many people live in Chapel Hill? 64,028 people. According to the most recent estimates, and you can see how that compares with some of the neighbors. Hillsborough approaching 10,000, Scarborough bumped over 21,000. How's that changing? Well, this is the change from 21, 2, 3, and 4. 4 years of growth. Chapel Hill added about 2,300 people. Now, it's not really a census taker who's counting. This is a statistically calculated loss of population in Carver. But Carver has been adding so little housing that when they take a look at the growth rates, they're showing it negative over this period of time. The counties around us, let me just show them in scale to each other. Wake County now at 1.2 million people, Orange at 152,000, Chatham about half the size of Orange and growing. And then you see Alamance larger than Orange. Most folks don't realize that. If we take a look at, now this is 5 years of growth, from 2020 to 2024. Orange the slowest. In Wake County, y'all, they're adding like 60 people a day are coming to Wake County, and in Orange County, it's about 5 people a week. And this is net. There's really 14,000 moving in and 10,000 moving out. Is really what's happening. It's a lot of churn. This isn't like 4,000 people moved here. It's a whole pile of people moved in, and a whole pile of people moved out, and we made babies. And that is a lot of our local population growth. Remember that? So county population change, if we take a look just last year, slowest growing compared to all of our neighbors, now at 164,000. When I talk about how we are growing, where are these people coming from? The total change, at 4,100, well, we made a bunch of them. We're productive, nearly 5,000 of baby having. And some people say, well, that's because we have the hospital. No, that's not how it works. Babies are where you are living, not where you had the baby. So if you were driving from Wake County to Virginia and you stopped here and had a baby, that would still be a Wake County baby. We're also dying, not as fast as we're being born. Thank goodness. In Chatham, they're dying faster than they're being born. They are losing population naturally. And then this is net migration, domestic and net migration international. More international people moving in than international people moving out. The Asian population, fastest growing population. If I had a business, I needed to hire someone bilingual. I hope I already had someone who spoke Spanish, and I'd be looking for someone who spoke Mandarin or Korean. And we are getting older, present company included. And so if we take a look at the shift, there's 14,000 more people over the age of 65 today than there were just 15 years ago. It's a much larger percent of our population. The percent of residents over the age of 65 is now 17%. Orange County, Holy County, Chatham County, now 26% of their folks are over the age of 65. When we take a look at as a fraction of all growth, so actually we added like, let's see, let me go back to this one. We added 14,000 people over the age of 65, and that represents 70% of the population growth. That sounds like relocation, it's not relocation. Were any of you under 65 but still living in the same house 10 years ago? Yes. And now you're over 65. You are in this population growth, but you didn't move anywhere. We are seeing a big change of people not moving, and we are going to talk about that. A lot of this is aging in place, but in general, the people that are at Carroll Woods, for example, it's not built, those cruise ships that never move. They're not building a lot more units. There's some units being built, but most of this is aging in place. All right. And the reason we know that is because we're smarter than everybody else with a higher bachelor's degree. And when we brag to a tech firm, we're like, we have more PhDs per capita than anywhere outside of Cambridge. And they sometimes retort, but it's a PhD in poetry living at Carolina Meadows. Like, yes, that's true. So some of them are scientists, PhDs, and some of them have had a great life and are hanging out with other faculty in some of our continuing care retirement. All right, so what that has led to is some K-12 population decline. Okay, so in Chatham County schools, enrollment, this is over a 6-year period, is stayed, they're down just a wee bit. And when we take a look, when we take a look at Chapel Hill Carrboro City Schools, we're down everywhere. There are 1,300 fewer children in Chapel Hill Carrboro City Schools than there were in 2020. And losing them across all grades. Is Orange County schools, we are gaining 5th graders and 10th graders, but in general, population is down everywhere. So if we look at Chatham County schools, the losses in younger years are gaining high schoolers, but when we look at Chapel Hill Carrboro City schools, that overall population decline. It's a big deal. Half of the money we get when we educate a child, and our per capita spending is like $16,000 some odd dollars per child. Half comes from the state, half comes from the locals. But if you have 1,000 fewer kids, you guys can do this math, 1,000 fewer kids and you had $16,000 per child that you would get per pupil, you'd have a $16 million problem. Our school system has a big problem. A revenue problem, a staff capacity problem. There are classrooms, some of them with 12 kids in them. We have 2 more elementary schools than we need currently. And we're looking to see elementary school consolidation, renovation, building some new, and so we just had a recent school bond, and that should take down 2. And my guess would be Frankfort Graham would come offline, and if you side, I went there in 1982, it looks the same. And there'll be some renovation at Carrboro, and then I think it's Ephesus is the other one they'd be looking. But they would then build back something else in its place. But we are, for 3 big reasons, not having very many kids. It's not flight to homeschool. Flight to private is hard to measure. We can see growth of children enrolled in private in Orange County. We cannot tell whether they were an Orange County resident and are now enrolled at Durham Academy. That would look like Durham County private school enrollment going up. We do know that some people are going there. There's 3 things happening. Thing 1, market share. The percentage of children that choose public school, or percentage of children's parents choosing public school, is somewhat declining. We're not capturing as high a percent of them as we used to. 2, there's less children. There's less humans in Orange County aged 6 to 18. There's less of them. Why are there less of them? Well, 2 things. 1, we're having babies a whole lot later. Orange County is one of the latest first birth ages in the state at like 32 of having their first child. And then also, we're not moving. You live in Southern Village. You have 3.25% interest rate. Your kid graduated high school. Normally, you would eject. You would have moved to Chatham. You would have gone somewhere else, lost the school district tax. But now you're trading that for 6.5% interest, and you say, I'll just stay. Or you would have moved to Florida and your retirement ages. But now you look at Florida and the weather looks shitty and the politics look shitty and it all looks shitty. And so you're aging in place. You're aging in place. And you're not leaving. You're not making way for people with children. Make way. So, we got some work to do. Third thing, so I said fertility, not having many babies. 2, some choices about moving. Third thing, the type of housing we're building is not adding children. We used to say, this community fought development. You were here for it. They fought development, believing it would swamp our school system, all the stranger danger. This new apartment complex and all these people from some other county that just moved in and are going to now swamp our school system. Didn't happen. The type and kind of housing we've been building are not producing kids. They're producing a ton of taxes, a lot of revenue, and children. And they're very productive. They're not producing kids, and that's having a big negative impact. School system's got a lot to think about. It's really hard to cut jobs and start marketing. But if you were reading a magazine, Chapel Magazine, you would see all sorts of ads about every other private school we got to go to and why those were good. And we've believed everybody thought we were good, and we didn't have to say so. But now there's a lot of competition. Chatham's got beautiful schools and they're brand new. And then the areas around us also improving. We're gonna have to start competing for children to select our school system because it's a bad cycle of downward enrollment. Let's just pause there for a second. Surprised? Yeah, the story we always told was like all of these people, and they were going to swamp our schools. And now, please, we hope so. The school system was like, we hope they have children when they move in. We used to think we're going to do a fertility test. If you're fertile, we're not going to let you in. And now we're like, so it's a community challenge. We need to be building more housing. We'll get to that in a minute. Any other what things on your mind about that? Surprise? No? Aaron, just keep going. Our schools are doing really well. I'm just going to hit graduation rates are improving. Oh, this is really hard to understand, but we show it to you visually. But we've always had a high graduation rate, not as high when you pull apart different cohorts. And Orange County is up. They used to be at 65% of kids graduating in 4 years, 15 years ago, and now on par with Chapel Carver City Schools graduation rates. Great growth in the graduation rates of children of color. This is a 10-year span of children of color graduating on time. In fact, now, in the most recent information that we have, with a slightly different cohort, children of color, black children, are graduating at a rate higher than the average. You're more likely to graduate on time if you're a black child in our school system than if you were just a child in our school system, and that's the first time that we've seen that number. Hispanic graduation rates are on the increase. And I'm just showing you how we compare to our neighbors. Some school districts really struggling with this. Economically disadvantaged is the term the state uses, and then they call everybody else NDS. It's like not economically disadvantaged. Those are the two cohorts. And our graduation rate higher than most, though Chatham outpacing. So that growth has been substantial, y'all, from 66% of children who are determined by the state to be economically disadvantaged now to 82%. Everybody's been growing. It's a true point of pride and success. I got lots of school data. We're not doing it because last time nothing. Let's talk about rent and costs of living. Rental prices are stabilizing, but still not very affordable. So let's do the percent first, the percent of people who rent. This is the percent of non-owner occupied dwelling units. 56% of all dwelling units in Harbor, non-owner occupied, Chapel Hill at 51, and you'll see Chatham County very low. Chatham has one of the highest percentages of home ownership in the state. This is also, I think, why tax increases sometimes don't cause people to throw fits, because 56% of the people in Harbor didn't get a tax bill. It's in their rent. They're gonna see it next year, but they get a bill. Like some of you got the bill and freaked out, but they don't get a bill. And if half your population doesn't get a bill, right? if I showed my kids what the Netflix bill was, or what the, right, it's different. They have an entirely different view of it, just of, consuming. Anyway. So let's take a look at multifamily asking rent. We have been adding apartment complexes in our community, you have noticed. And that is because we used to be able to develop by spreading the peanut butter out all over the bread, and we're out of bread, and so we're now stacking it up a little bit, and it sits tall and offends some of you, and the reason I know is because you call me. But because we have been adding supply, this is the average rent in Chapel Hill, Carrboro since 2019. It has been even, steady, stable, 4 years in a row. But what I also want to show you is average Durham rent and average Chatham rent are the same. We have a story we tell ourselves that it's cheaper over there, or it's more expensive here, but it's now the case. It used to be different. You can see that at the far end, and if I went backwards even further in time, even more different. But at the moment, they're just within dollars of each other. This is multifamily. This is not a single family house for rent. This is like apartment complexes only. And so if we take a look at the growth from 2021 to 2025, here's where statistics really can mislead you. It shows a 18% increase. But if I just move it forward a year, if you take it from 2022 to 2025, it's down. Rent is down on average. Apartment complex owners are not happy. If you are an investor in an apartment complex, you're unhappy. If you're not, you should be happy. This is good. This is good news for everybody but the owners and the investors. But as we've been adding supply, we have been making it so that we can't keep raising the rent because we've been adding new product to market. You know what the cheapest way to build affordable housing is? This is my view, personally. It's to build new student housing. Because students move out and leave behind Royal Park, Carolina Apartments, Kingswood. All of these apartment complexes on the 54 corridor that were 100% students when some of you all were in school, and they're like 0%, well, there's some students graduate, and now it is multilingual, blue collar, black and brown. Labor folk of our community have been able to move in behind. We've seen it in every college town. New student housing pulls people out of other housing and makes it available for us. It's very expensive to build affordable housing. We should still do it. It's an all of the above strategy. One of a way that we've seen some success with by adding more supply. So median rent, according to the feds, is this. You'll see now 1,400 median, not average, so half above and half below. You see Orange County, 1387. Percent of population paying more than $2,000 a month in rent. It's a lot. 21% of the population paying more than $2,000 a month. And we've seen that median rent, according to the American Community Survey, is up, but up slower than any other neighboring community, in my view, because we have been adding supply. Cost burdenedness is if you're spending more than 30% of your pre-tax dollars on housing. So if you make $72,000 a year as a household, to make it 36, spending more than $2,000 would be considered cost burden. Most of us would think, yeah, cost burden was at like $1,500. So if you made $36,000 a year, spending more than $1,000 a month, which is in this category, and we have some of the highest, at almost 60% in Chapel Hill, people are paying more than 30% of their pre-tax dollars on housing. So, fair market rent is another way to look at it. I'll just use the one bedroom at $1,418. This is how many hours a week you'd have to work at minimum wage in order to afford the average one bedroom. You would have to work 150 hours a week at minimum wage. Or there'd have to be 3 of you working 50 hours a week, living in that unit. You know what minimum wage? Just, if you never took a day off, you never had a vacation day, you just worked every single day, what the total annual income is? $16,500. All right, so this is what's called the housing wage. This is how much you need to make, $27.27, in order to afford the average one bedroom, and let's annualize that, and it looks like this, and that's how it's changed over time. Your household, or yourself, would need to make $56,722 to afford the average one bedroom in Orange County. That's with the moderations that we've been seeing. Anyone want to say something about housing? Comment, question?
I'm just kidding, just
comment.
kidding.
Let's talk about per capita income. So, there's lots of ways to look at income. This is one, AGI. If you're filing your tax returns, you know what AGI is. That's your adjusted gross income in Orange County. The last available data, 129, and that's how we compare with our neighbors. Our AGI,
Is that median or average? What is it?
it's the average, thank you, sorry. The average adjusted gross income. Not. And then this is the change. So when I take AGI and I multiply it by all households, you get total revenue, right? How much money is earned by people living in Orange County? So this is our math, just to show them to you in comparison with neighbors. Remember I told you Alamance County was well, not twice, was bigger than Orange County, but we have a higher buying power because of our adjusted gross income. But our adjusted gross income is down. It's down slightly, I'm not worried yet. If we see multiple years of this trend, we'll take a look. But we have seen some changes over the years, between these 2 years in particular. Another way to take a look at income is per capita income. Per capita income is all money earned divided by all humans. All 99-year-olds that live there, all 1-year-olds that live there, every human in your county, you divide all the income by all the humans and you get this. And these are how that's changing. So this is adjusted for inflation. I'm going to give it to you in 2023 dollars. This is what we were making in 2013, and these are the change, and compared to our neighbors. So you see that adjusted gross income is going up in Orange County, but slower than our friends in Chatham, slower than our friends in Wake, slower than our friends in Durham. That's the growth, the darker color. And that's the change in adjusted gross income, inflation adjusted. So actually we're making more. We're making $6,700 more than we were a decade ago, including inflation adjustments. When we take every county in North Carolina, we spread them out like this. So that's Hyde and Greene and Robeson and Anson down at the far end, and Chatham in the number 1 slot, Orange in the number 3 slot for per capita income. A whole lot more than Lee and Alamance. We show it to you visually. The darker places have a higher per capita income. Probably not a surprise. Let me just peel it back a little and take a look at black per capita income. Orange is in the 18s, Chatham 3. And then where those are, Camden is the number 1 county, and Chatham is number 3. One of the goals of economic development is to help people improve their quality of life, their lot in life, economic mobility. That's why we're doing it. And so this is the growth of black per capita income. In Chatham, black per capita income is on the rise. In Orange, it had been declining. This is the first year that we're seeing some good improvements, that a improving economy is improving for everybody. Hispanic per capita income, Chatham number 1 in the state by heads and shoulders. And visually, let me just give you the state and what it looks like for Hispanic per capita income. And then the change, big change, more than doubling in Chatham County over a decade. Last would be Asian per capita income, Transylvania County, sitting in the 2 slot. The 1, I'm not even going to list, it's like so off the chart, the data must be wrong. And then Chatham 3, Orange 9. And big changes. The Asian population across the state of North Carolina, very different. At the coast, we among fishermen. In Chatham County, as a research scientist, a very diverse Asian population in North Carolina. And then this is white per capita income, Mecklenburg leads. Should be curious. All right. So the overall across the areas, this is change in per capita income across our county. It is not even, but it is growing everywhere. And that is good news, and is one of the benchmarks in our economic development efforts. Can we have black and Asian, and can we have black and Hispanic in particular, grow faster than the average? The only way to close a huge gap is that one grows faster than the other, and we're pleased to see that. I'm going to go to housing. This is our final, the cost of for sale housing. So the first quarter of this year, $505,000, 665. Median. Half, right, this is not skewed by a $5 million house. This is the median. And then if you thought that was high, Chatham putting this to shame, had more than $165,000 higher in Chatham. 671, the median transaction value. This is not what Zillow says your house is worth. This is not what the tax assessor. This is the ones that actually sold. And changed hands and what they sold for. So that median residential closing price, let's take a look at the school district. It's still not the highest. Chatham is outpacing Chapel Harbor City Schools. Chapel Hill's next. Carrboro doesn't have a lot of homes, so when they transact, it really skews the numbers, but they're at 425, and then you can see Wake and Durham. And then the part that shocks me is this change, the increase. The housing price in a 3-year period is up $137,000. In Chapel Hill, a 29% increase in just a 3-year period. Not a 3 years messed up by pandemic and other stuff. This is a post-pandemic start date in 2021, and then the school district growth at 145,000. Some people are like, well, the houses are bigger there. Well, then we neutralize for that and tell you $1 per square foot. This is $1 per square foot across those communities. Chatham is higher because their houses are bigger, but their price per square foot is lower. On average, our homes are aged 1984 in Orange County, and on average, it's like 2004 in Chatham County. They got like garden tub and granite. We're like Formica and tiny. All right, so let me move past this. A big shift, though. These are the orange, dark orange. This is the houses that sold for under $300,000. Exactly. Wait. That music was appropriate for this side of it. These are the homes selling for more than $600 in just a six-year band. Chatham County's very similar, adding a whole lot of product at the higher end. Transactions are on the down, though. Remember, we just talked about that. The actual homes sold are on a 5-year low. And when we take a look at what's happened the first half of the year, probably even going to be lower. Big reason, my view, is new construction. There's only 71 new homes that were built. There's Chatham counties in the blue, Orange counties in the orange. Let me show you our neighbors. In Wake County, 30% of all the homes sold are a new home. In Orange County, it is 10% of all homes sold were a new home. And if we talk about adding supply, Orange added 2,400 units and Wake added 48,000 units. And then you can see what our neighbors added. And when you put this little supply into the market, only 4% was the percent of homes in the Chapel Harbor City school system compared to the Chatham County school system. We continue to have a real supply problem, which is also why we are having the school enrollment problem, because you're building and buying somewhere outside of market because you don't want to spend $600,000 and have it be an unupdated Formica countertop kitchen. You just don't. We want to get something bigger, and we don't bring those options to people in our community. Look, see, that wasn't as painful as last time. Yeah, the laughter, you're right. It was good. So even look, this says questions and discussion. And I was going to do trivia for everybody. But let me take some questions, and then I'm going to give you trivia to win some tickets to the Savannah Bananas. I'm going to call not on a board member that I report to. Lacey Judy, also I work for over there. I'm going to do you second or third, Judy. Let's.
Is it working? Yeah. I know schools compete, but if schools are vacant or there's not enough room, do you ever talk to another school district? Take Meadowmont, for instance. I see Durham school buses running in Meadowmont. I know we're right on the county line. Do you ever negotiate with another school district about our students going there or their students here?
So up until someone everybody knows, late 80s, early 90s, you could pay tuition and come to us from a different school district. You could be a Chatham County resident, pay tuition, and go to Chapel Hill Carver City Schools. We did away with that for some overcrowding we were having back then. I don't know if there's interest in doing that anymore. School districts are generally county defined. We are a unique county with 2 school districts. There was an effort to talk about that solution, which is to become like the rest of the counties with only 1 school district. We all that would have a dramatic impact on housing costs. Depends on if you owned one or were looking for one, or whether that would be good. But no, not between counties. We do allow all faculty and staff that attend Chapel, who work at Chapel Carver City Schools, to bring their children to the school of their choice, no matter what county they live in, without payment. Jim?
Do we know what percentage occupancy, what's the percentage of occupancy among this, all the construction that's taking place in Blue Hill and in our apartment complex generally?
High, very high.
Which would be what?
92, 93.
Wow.
There's one that is not right now. It just came out of the ground in an off-leasing cycle. So the one that is at University Mall is leasing slower. But they have leased up very nicely and very quickly. But they've been coming online in such a period to keep supply available every year. And at the moment, they're all offering discounts. In this lease cycle, you might say is asking rent, they'll give you a month off.
The price suggested that the occupancy would be lower.
Yeah.
Because the rents are lower.
So there are many, and I just looked at the sheet myself. It gives you every unit what you're paying, blah, blah, blah. There are some that probably are a little less than the 90s. In general, it's been pretty healthy. As new units have come on, the 2 newest are likely to be lower, and that they then lower their price. And apartment pricing is just like hotels right now. A hotel's price changes every hour using a machine to judge how much capacity and supply there is. This is why you never see an apartment complex tell me what it costs. It changes every day. It changes whether you want an 11-month lease or 6, and it's all priced by computers, and they are adjusting constantly to maximize adoption. But what that means is that one of the higher end ones drops price by 100 and gives you a free month, everybody cascades. So new product has been helping, but it's not a big supply problem. There's not too much. Judy, I love you. I love you too.
You taught me everything I know about humor, Aaron. About the apartment complexes, what the new tax bill did, it actually lowered the taxes on all the apartment complexes. So you won't see rents going down, okay, but taxes are going down on the owners of the apartment complexes as they went up on residential owners.
If I taught you everything, I've not taught you this one yet, Ben. Your apartment complex did go down. Most did not. Yours is very unique and we cannot figure out why. But yours dropped from being worth like 87 million to being assessed at 60 million. And that is as a multiplier of rent is how they determine the value of an apartment complex is revenue. They're probably not going to give you the savings, but their need to push it up has diminished. We just see a few other apartment complexes that moderated, but residential went through the roof this time, and commercial is pretty moderate.
Another thing I wanted to say about why there's no growth in Orange County, Chapel Hill, because there's no water sewer available. The water sewer district, Orange County controls OWASA. OWASA decides where there's going to be water sewer. They just allowed going south an extension of water sewer. But out in the county, near Hillsborough and that part of the county,
yes,
there's no availability. So a developer can't develop. So there is no supply.
There, correct. Judy's right. One of the things that's constrained our housing is a urban services boundary, where instead of it staying farmland, it's now $1 million house on 4 acres. But that's what's happening out there because you need a septic system and a well. We have this rural buffer. Roger Weldon, you may have known him as a planning director, he drew that rural buffer with his child and a crayon in 1984 at a kitchen table. That has guided our community's development for 2 generations. It may be time to take a look at some, stay out of the watershed, but some growth of, unless the county wants to add housing, it can't be the case, y'all, where you get to close the door behind you. This community needs additional residents. Our employers need the workers, I won't get this up. What other questions? I know we're in the lightning round. Pat, feel it.
I've known you for a very long time, my friend.
25
years. So you and I have seen, the news that you're giving us is not shocking at all. Because 20 years ago, there was no development. Walmart's being built on county lines. We're not receiving the revenue. So it's not shocking that it would cost more to live here than any other county. But so what do we do going forward? So if it's too expensive to have a child in Orange County, how do we get out of the kind of the pickle we're in as far as the schools go?
So cost of living drives some of the children issue, but not all of it. Rich people have kids too. And so just because it's expensive doesn't mean it doesn't have children. Younger families, it has been a challenge for. I think we have to extend some of where we're going to develop. And we have to tolerate some taller stuff. Tallest structure in Orange County, anybody know tallest structure? It's the bell tower. Second tallest structure, it's a campus research lab. Third, another campus research lab. Fourth, now we're getting to an apartment complex, Greenbridge. We're gonna have to tolerate 10 and 11 stories, which is what we have, and I think that will help. Right now, they've agreed to extend water and sewer from Southern Village to the Chatham County line. Let's light up that corridor. It's a 4-lane cross section with the median. Housing along that corridor will be totally appropriate. Right now, 800 units are being built across from Southern Village. 100 of them will be permanently affordable. Let's keep doing that down the line. And no stranger danger, y'all. Most of the new people came from the county next door. The second most new people came from where the rest of your family lives. These aren't strangers. These are people moving into a market. We know we have a great thing here. We can welcome them. So, more housing, focus on our schools. Don't panic when you hear the consolidation stuff. Pay attention to local politics. Vote. And just a moment of personal privilege. I love this facility. This may be a little off topic. If the current immigration policies existed, when Mr. Sankar applied to be a graduate student, he would not be here, and we would have one less Nobel laureate. He came to UNC because we're the only school who took him. It was the only place that accepted his graduate student application. And he was so proud of that he stayed his entire life, did his research here, and won one of our only Nobel Prizes. Or we could have said Turkish immigrants don't belong in this community. And so that is my note as we're seeing things happening around in our community.
That's powerful.
Thank you all for inviting me.
Thank you, thank you.
I'll see you in a couple of years.
That was great. Hey, remember, we don't have a meeting next week. And if you need to swing by the following week and drop some gloves and hats, there's a bucket right there. And thank you to Deborah and Rafika for allowing us to do that. Have a nice week.
didn't have like it was. So now it does. Yeah. Yeah. Send out the email. Let me know.
Oh, well, my pizza store?
Well, no, that's
Yeah. Do you know, I mean, it was a girl from the club, it was, Julie Myers. I don't know if you know her, but that's who it was. And she was like, is this guy a creep? I need a ride, but I don't know if I trust him.